Hey guys, this is Julian from GamerFill.com with a review of Dead to Right's Retribution. It's a very fresh feeling game that entreats its players to the genius combination of brawler and third-person shooter. You'll play as Jack Slate, an enforcer of the law in Grant City, a once rich and beautiful city that has been scourged with violent crime and frequent gang activity. It sounds like a simplistic storyline, but it really blossoms into a very deep and involving experience. You might not understand what is going on right away, but within the first 10 minutes of the game, the storyline unfolds. In fact, this is one of those rare games where you'll really be pumped by the time the ending rolls around and the difficulty scales along with it to ensure that the game never feels repetitive or boring. For once, the game is actually centered around cops taking out the bad guys, a nice step back into reality from the ridiculously themed games like Grand Theft Auto. This basically shows that you don't have to be a gangster to be hardcore. In fact, you'd actually be better off being one of the good guys in this case unless you regularly fantasize about having your throat become a chew toy. In short, the game plays out almost like an awesome cop movie that happens to be around 9 hours long. The gameplay is very unique and never fails to entertain. Think of Arkham Asylum's free-flow combat system combined with Resident Evil's artillery loadout and top it all off with a bloodthirsty dog as your companion, appropriately named Shadow. Oh, did I say dog? I meant the embodiment of Chuck Norris in the form of an animal. But all jokes aside, the combat system is easily what makes the game. There's nothing quite like being in the middle of a close quarters fist fight 1 second, then immediately having to switch over to a long distance shootout, all while simultaneously controlling Shadow's actions. But you won't be bound to just playing as Jack either, as you will actually get to control Shadow for certain missions. This system on its own is incredibly entertaining. Creep around in silence and visually pick up on the enemy's heartbeat, bark and grunt to lure enemies to your awaiting fangs, or outright hunt your enemies down and relentlessly tear them to shreds, then drag the bodies away to hide the evidence. One of the coolest features of the game is the focus system. It allows you to briefly slow down time around you and increases your damage output. Fill up the focus bar by getting headshots, performing hand-to-hand combos, and by getting takedowns. In a nutshell, takedowns are flashy finishing moves that you can do when prompted to. These moves always kill the target and never fail to entertain visually. Once you think you've seen all the animations, you'll be pleasantly surprised by a rare one that pops up that you've never seen before. Graphically, the game really provides due to the amount of detail that went into the environment. In fact, one of the best aspects of the game is the constant realism of every area that you encounter. The game also has a better character mouth-to-dialogue sync than some of the other games have lately, and it looks like they're actually speaking the words rather than mumbling them. There are a few strange glitches here and there, such as dialogue during battle taking place out of order or being repeated over top of itself a few times. There's also a strange enemy glitch in which you'll be hidden all safe and sound behind a crate, and then like it's straight out of one of Houdini's acts, an enemy will spawn right behind you and proceed to massacre you. This especially tends to happen in holdout scenarios, which means this isn't really a glitch at all, but more of an overlooked mapping issue. However, these glitches are very minimal, and if anything, will only make you laugh or keep your heart racing, both of which are good things. Overall, I'd have to say this one is definitely worth picking up. With 3 different difficulty settings and a badge-gathering side quest, this game should keep you entertained for around a week or two, and you'll probably find yourself wanting to play it over again even after you've fully completed everything just because the gameplay is so much fun. Dead to Right's Retribution is a fast-paced adrenaline ride, and that's exactly why we give it a well-deserved 8.5 out of 10.